children of Grameen families go to school. Because these are the families, these are the women who, from Bangladesh, who never went to school in their life. Their husbands never went to school. Nobody in the history in the back ever went to school. So these are the population that we work with. So one of the things right from the beginning we made clear that we want to make sure that children do not repeat the history of their parents. So it became our job to encourage our borrowers to make sure their children go to school. It's not easy to convince them because they feel if the son or daughter stay home, they will help them do their work or something, they can fetch water, they can help them do whatever they're doing. But sending to the school, meaning that sacrificing their work. But within Grameen, we built an environment where they feel that yes, it is worthwhile to send the children to school. Then it's the responsibility of our staff to make sure not only they go to school, they stay in school. So we took several years in the beginning to make sure it happens. Since then, not a single child in Grameen Bank is left out of school. So we have millions of children. When you have 8.3 million families, you got lots of millions of children to send to school, and we did, and they stay in school. We thought they will go through the patience of moving or completing primary education, which is 6th grade. After the 6th grade, we saw people, the students will now come back and never go to school. We were surprised. They continued. They completed their high school. Most of them completed their high school. They started coming to the colleges and universities. And they got stuck because it is expensive to go to the universities. Up to graduation of high school, it doesn't cost much because it's free education. So they can all go. But the moment you come to higher education, it costs money. So they're getting nervous. What do we do now? We said, don't worry. Stay in colleges, go to universities. Grameen Bank will finance entire requirement of your education. The Grameen Bank is duty bound to finance every child of Grameen Bank to continue and finish their high school, their higher education, if they qualify, if they're good enough, if they can get themselves admission in the higher education. Right now, this year we have 52,000 students in medical schools, engineering schools, universities. So we have a very contrasting situation. The parents are totally illiterate. Children, educated. Some are very highly educated. It's a very striking contrast again when you visit a Grameen Bank family. When I go visit and talk to them. They are very excited to see me, that I came to visit them. The woman is very happy. She joined Grameen Bank 15 years back. 20 years back, she has been working and she's changed her life completely. She wants to show the house she built, wants to show all the things she bought, all the furniture she has, proud of what she has accomplished. And I see a young girl with her. And you can immediately see she's her daughter, because she looks exactly like the mother. Only one younger, another is older. The similarity is so obvious, a younger version of her mother. So I think she helps the mother in her work. So I asked her, what do you do in the house? She said, no, I don't live here. So where do you live? She said, I live in the nearing town. What do you do there? I'm a medical doctor. I practice there. You get a shock because your mind suddenly awakes that although they look alike, their life is not the same. Because this is the girl who went to school, went to medical school, now became a doctor. Now she's in the practicing, now came to the village. I said, what are you doing here? He said, I came here because I heard that you're visiting our village. I never saw you in my life. So I wanted to see you. And I look at her, and look at her mother, to look at the similarity. And immediately a thought comes to the mind. Mother could have been a doctor too. There's nothing wrong with the mother. But society never gave her a chance. She never went to school. She cannot even read and write. Her daughter got a chance. Simply in an institution called Grameen Bank, let her go to school and then gave her the financing to complete her school in medical school. And she became a doctor. If society had given the opportunity, her mother could have been such a professional person. There's no difference between a mother and a daughter in terms of intellectual ability. You ask yourself the question, why poverty? What creates poverty? Is it inside the person, or it is brought from outside and imposed on the person? Every time you meet this woman in the village, you come to the same answer. She is not the cause of poverty. Poverty is imposed on her from outside. What imposed poverty on her? Of course, the society imposed poverty on her. System imposed the poverty on her. Intellectual, conceptual framework imposed poverty on her. It's not her fault. And I try to explain it by giving an analogy of a bonsai tree. You know, we take the seed of the tallest tree in the forest and put it in a flower pot. It grows this big. It doesn't grow anymore. It exactly looks like the tree in the forest. It's an absolute replica of that forest tree, but only this much. We call it bonsai. There is nothing wrong with the seed. The reason that it became so stunted, so little. What is the reason? The reason is we didn't give the seed enough space to grow. We gave only a flower pot, so it grew only this much. And I try to tell people that, look, poor people are bonsai people. There's nothing wrong with their seed. As a human being, they're as capable as anybody else in the world. Simply, society never gave the chances it gave to everybody else. I said, take the example of a child born on the street. And suppose at that moment a child is also born in the palace. And by some magic, you switch these two little newborns. The child born in the palace is brought to the street, and the child born in the street is switched to the palace. Come back a few years later, 15 years, 20 years later. The child who was grown up in the palace, he grew up as a prince. Everybody respects him, everybody salutes him. He talks like a prince, he acts like a prince. The child who grew up on the street, he became a criminal. So this is a good movie story, but that's the real story too. The child becomes what he or she is because of the environment in which we let him grow. And that makes all the difference. Institutions are at fault. Policies are at fault. Laws are at fault. That create poverty. So when you look at a poor person, don't blame her. Blame us, blame ourselves, that we are responsible because we designed those things which we are talking about. Look at the institution like banks. Can you explain to me, I keep asking this question to everybody, can you explain to me why you do not lend to the poor people? Only explanation they can give you, they are not creditworthy. What does that mean? They cannot pay you back. I said, you could have said that 35 years back. Today you cannot say that. because we built the record in Grameen Bank for 35 years. What a systematically they have paid. Their repayment record exceeds the repayment record of any bank anywhere in the world. You can't beat that. And Bangladesh is a country of disasters. Every other year, only way you know about Bangladesh probably, you read in a newspaper, a flood is taken over. Bangladesh is sinking, or something like that. One disaster, or some tidal wave came, cyclone came, so many thousands of people were washed away. And millions of people became homeless. That's the story you read. That's the country that Grameen Bank works. Did it make any change that Grameen Bank disappeared because the flood came? Did it look for bailouts for anybody? No. It didn't ask for any bailout from anybody. It continued. By the way, Grameen Bank doesn't take any money from anybody. People say, you must be getting a lot of money from World Bank. What is World Bank? Who are they? We don't know. We never took any money from them. People assume that donors are giving you a lot of money. That's why it works. None of this, none of it. All the money we lend out, over $1.5 billion every year, and it keeps growing. Where does this money come from? It's not a tiny piece. $1.5 billion is a huge lot of money in Bangladesh. It comes from the bank internal system. We don't take money from any bank, any government, our own government, or any donor agency, nothing. We take deposits, just like any bank, and give this money to the people so that they can change their own life. And also we encourage our borrowers to save. And they save tiny little money. Our average loan, in case you are thinking how big is the loan, our average loan today would be about $225, average. There are many below that, many above that, but the average is $225. And each borrower is supposed to have a bank account, save tiny little money. That tiny little money becomes a big money if you keep on adding every week to that money, and you have 8.3 million people saving in that account, in their accounts. $1.5 billion that we lend out, nearly $1 billion comes from the deposits, from the savings of the borrowers themselves. So people always look at the poor people as somebody who only takes. Forget they have the capacity to give, save. So the whole orientation about what poor people is completely changes overnight. All these children who go to school, who are doing their master's degree, coming as MBAs, coming up as doctors, engineers, what do they see in the world? When I go and talk to them, a group of them, hundreds of them, they always worry that yes, you have helped us, we are getting these degrees, but there's no job in Bangladesh. What do we do? Where do we go? It puzzled me in the beginning, way back. Then I thought something. Then whenever this question comes, every time I meet these young people, always this question comes, where is my job? How do we find a job? And finding a job in Bangladesh is extremely difficult. Even if the job exists, you have to be really connected with somebody real powerful in the country to recommend you and get you the job. So you're always looking for somebody who can recommend you to find a job. Or bribe the people. Bribing for a job is a very common practice in Bangladesh. An enormous amount of money has to be bribed to find a job. So we have no money to give the bribe, and we are coming from families who have no connection with any big shots. So I try to think of other ways. When I meet them, I tell them, look, you are a different kind of young people. Don't think like the other young people. Because you are a very privileged young people. Why should you be looking for a job? Your mother owns a bank. Money is not your problem. Your mother's bank has unlimited money. Why don't you think about something else? Like what? Like, first of all, you decide in your mind and then take a pledge, a promise, and repeat this pledge every morning you will wake up. What do I say? What do I make a pledge? The pledge is, I shall never be a job seeker. I will be a job giver. My mission in life is to create jobs. And that's how I will. In the beginning, they were shocked. I don't have a job, and he's making fun of me. He says, I should be a job giver. How can I be a job giver? I have nothing. Then I take this question to them. I said, look, you remember your mother? Remember how she got involved in Grameen Bank? How many years? 20 years back, she joined Grameen Bank. She was shaking like this when she got her first loan, $30 loan. She could not believe anybody could give her such an enormous amount of money. Tears were rolling down her eyes. But she was brave. She promised herself that she will take this responsibility and make it happen. And she made it happen. And ever since, she's taking loan after loan and changed her life and sent you to school, sent you to the college. And that's why you are a graduate now. That's why you're a doctor now. That's why you're an engineer now. If your illiterate mother could do something for herself without seeking a job with anybody, what good is your education if you're not better than your mother? And if you don't know what to do, you look at your mother, what she did, what she is doing now. Whatever she has done as an illiterate person, you can make it 50 times bigger, 100 times bigger. And it will be your business because you have absolutely a consultant in residence. Your mother is the biggest consultant you can get because she's an expert on that business. Now many of the young people are starting businesses. We give them the loan so that they can go into areas where his mother will never go. So I was talking about banks, how banks reject people, institution which fails people. Then concepts fail people. Look at the concept of business. Business means business to make money. We're so blinded by making money, we don't see anything else. We are blinded by making money. We are intoxicated by making money. Sometimes making money can even become an addiction. You don't see the world as it is. You see it in a very narrow way. The point I always try to raise, looking at what I have done, what it means to me, it means to others. I said, human beings are not money-making machines. We are not robots in this world. We are much bigger than that. But our theory has kind of compressed us into a very narrow role. We become a tiny little robots, always scramble around to make money. And we don't know why you are making money. What do you do with your money? I understand you're making your first million, fine, you have made your first million. What to do with your second million, third million, fourth million, or first billion? What do you do? Making money is a means. But we are using as if making money is a means, making money is an end. It can't be that way. End has to be something else. So I said, why don't we see it what our purpose is? Why do we live in this planet? What do we do? Is it just make money and then say goodbye and disappear? Or do something else? As a human being who has enormous capacity, unlimited capacity to do things, money is just a tiny little use of our capacity. Other capacity is never used. It remains totally unutilized. Other capacity is to make a difference in the world. I said, why can't we make business to change the world? And then I look around and I said, yes, this is precisely what we have been trying to do. And that's what I started talking about. It is based on that instinct to change the world, without having any intention of personally benefiting from that business. So this is a new category of business that I'm trying to explain to people, that if you are interested, you can participate. It makes sense to me. I hope it makes sense to you. This is the business to make a difference in people's life, and I'm calling it social business. So I started creating those social businesses one after another. And luckily now people are picking it up. Many universities are opening their centers of social business to teach students how social business is designed and how it is practiced. Many universities are creating chairs of social business. Many universities have an institute of social business. Young people love this idea that they have the capacity to change the world by creating social businesses. Human capacity, human creativity is so enormous. If you put that creativity in solving problems in a business way, they will come up with 1,001 designs for that. And I give the example of some of the multinationals that work with us as a joint venture to solve problems through social business. One is Danone, producing yogurt. Once I didn't meet actually Franz Ribot. I didn't even know his name, Frank Ribot. He sent me a message that when I come to Paris, he would like to have lunch with me. I said, okay, we'll make it happen. So when I came to Paris to attend a meeting, a women's conference, so I met him, he had lunch with me. So we discussed this. Then I proposed to him, why don't we create a company in Bangladesh, because Danone doesn't work in Bangladesh. He said, okay. So we shook hands. Then I said, it will be a social business. He says, what is social business? Then I said, social business where you will never get any dividend, but the company will be working to solve a problem. Again, shook hands. Okay, I'll do it. Then I became a little suspicious. He doesn't understand my Bangladeshi English, and I probably didn't understand his French English, so we got lost in the translation. So I sent him a long email explaining everything, what we discussed. And within an hour, he sent me back his reply. He said, I understood every word you told me, and I agree whatever you have recorded, and I sign on it. Let's go ahead and do it. And out of that, we created Gameen, the non-company, to produce yogurt, to address the problem of malnutrition among the children of Bangladesh. There was no intention of making any dividend out of this company for anybody. So it's totally dedicated to this job, and it's doing a very good job. It's very effective yogurt to remove the malnutrition among the children. So that's the whole purpose. If you can remove the malnutrition among the children in a business way, you have discovered something which can change the life of all the children. Malnutrition not only have a stunted growth, you don't grow as much, your mental faculty is also stunted. You cannot absorb things as much, you cannot take ideas as much, you cannot remember things as much, because your mental development didn't go in the right way. So that's a shocking thing for any nation, to have children suffer through that right in front of your own eyes. It costs penny, literally pennies. That you can produce things so cheap once you put your head into creating something for poor people. You have the business technology, your mind is removed from making money, suddenly all the creative power comes in to make the job. So this is what we do as social business. Enormous varieties of things can be done with the social business. And that's what, if we can, we are not saying that all the other business activities should be shut down, that's not what we're saying. All the businesses can go as they are. I hope they will improve a little bit. But parallelly, each business can run a social business. So the things that they cannot do in a money-making format, they can do in a social business format. It gets open because the businesses have enormous creative power. Businesses have enormous technology in their command. If you use this creative power, if you use this technology that they command, and use it through the door of social business, the problems that we have around us will disappear very soon. Let's try to do that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you very much again, and now we have time for a few questions. Please, if you wish to ask Professor about responsible capitalism, social business, the professor is yours. Dámy a pánové, pokud chcete pronést nějakou otázku, samozřejmě všechno se hned překládá, neváhejte, mluvte i česky. Yes, please, could you make your identification, please, first?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Josef Šíma, Center Institute College. Professor Júnus, I thank you for your wonderful talk. I'm a big fan of bottom-up solutions, and you do not only talk theoretically about it, you really gave us a lesson that it is possible and it works. My question is related to the current problems which we are in. The thing is that the solutions to the problems are today rarely bottom-up. They are typically top-down solutions. Spending money is considered to be a good thing. Printing money is considered to be a solution. Whereas, as far as I understood you, you talk about entrepreneurship, about human creativity, about alertness. Is there a lesson from your own experience with your bank to like a general policy making? Thank you.
Well, I can only bring my experiences, relevance to it. I can make some general comments, what I feel that should be done. This is what I'm trying to do right now. For example, for the young people that I was discussing, there's millions of these young people coming from Grameen families. The message is not wait for a job. Create your own job. Create jobs for others. You are capable of that. But our education system doesn't tell you that. Our education system and our parents are encouraged to tell their children, son or daughter, you work hard so that you get the best grade in the class. And then go to the best schools because you have the good record. And so that you can get the best job in the best company. Getting the best job in the best company, is this what the fate of a human life? But this is what we are saying, this is what we are encouraging through our education system. We never say, work hard, find a way, change the world. There are many ways how you change the world. This is one, this is two, this is three. Take your pick. Design the world that you want to be, because this is your world. You create the world you want to live. You are not coming to the world as a tenant. It's somebody's place, I go and live for a while and then go. You come here as a creator of this world and prepare to create the world that you want, design it. But that's the message we are not giving. We are not giving the visioning message. We are not giving the creative message. So this is where we go wrong in our education system and everything. And as a result, we become a whole mass of workers. Those tiny little people going to the office work very hard to make the shareholders make a lot of money and get a good promotion. That's it. So we need to discover what are we for, so that we can integrate it in our system and so on. And about giving